What's up, YouTube? Back for another ride. It's some Bike Bowl. Today I am heading towards downtown Austin to go to a high point. I think it's called Mount Bonnell. I have to check that again, but it's the highest point in Austin, especially the downtown area. It's supposed to have some decent views. So I go over there, check it out, take a few pictures. Just before I turned the camera on, I had a close encounter with a squirrel. He almost ate my front tire, but luckily he continued to run straight instead of doubling back like a lot of times they do. If he had stopped and doubled back, he would have been squashed bananas. That would have sucked. There we go, school zone, 20 miles an hour. So what I like to do is keep it in second and put on my cruise control. Look at that. Cruise control engaged, 20 miles an hour. No hand on the throttle. So this is very helpful in these situations. And if I want to go a little bit faster, just tweak the push forward on the little knob right here. Seems everyone's going about 22 miles an hour. So and here we go, end of school zone. So you can, now you can just turn that off. That's very helpful. I use that anytime I'm riding around during school hours. It's very handy. So what I'm going to do today is talk a little Bike Bowl right now, and then for most of the journey I'll be silent and until we get to the park. I'll give you some highlights of the ride along the way. Shouldn't be too long of a video. But, a couple things. I was chatting with some people that had watched a couple videos, and one of them had just purchased this bike and hasn't been able to ride it yet until the other day because he's up in the northern climates, I'm assuming, winter. And he reported in that he loved the bike and the power. It was his first time he really rode it. And just mentioned about the quick shifter being clunky. So that's pretty much a universal, I think, complaint to some degree of people that have this bike. So I typically, I've said it before in my videos, but and I did mention it to the viewer, I usually use the clutch, you know, first to second, second to third, and then above that, third to fourth, fifth, sixth, I can use the quick shifter, and it's pretty smooth. Like here, I'll use it right now, third to fourth. There's just a slight little jerk, like lurch, you know, not very much at all. But if you go second to third, you get a really big jerk, like push forward. I'm gonna test out, you know, different RPMs, you know, when to shift at different RPMs, and see if that makes any difference. And I rarely use it when I'm downshifting, although you can, and I do use it maybe like 6th to 5th, 5th to 4th downshifting without the clutch, but the rest of the gears I'll use the clutch. And I find, as did the viewer, that, you know, using the clutch is just a much smoother operation when you're using the clutch. second and third at around 5,000. See, it jumps forward pretty hard. I think if you probably let the RPMs go up higher, it probably won't be as much of a jerk, if you will. So there was third to fourth, no big deal. And fourth to fifth is usually, I can't even feel it typically. Let's do that right now. You can see my screen. A little bit. So another video I watched from Fortnine, the motorcycle YouTuber channel Fortnine. I'll put a link in the description, but I don't know if any of you have seen it. It came out about a week ago, I guess, where they compared brand new bikes' engine oil and the particulates of metal and shavings and other tidbits that aren't supposed to be there. Just basically judging motorcycles on their build quality, manufacturing practices, etc. And there's some surprises in there. Of note to myself and my fellow BMW owners, we came in second on the list of top quality, which is not really that surprising. German engineering is known to be top-notch. Just another thing I wanted to mention, I've had more than one occasion where I stopped the bike and downshift into first. And it goes into neutral and it won't go into first, so I have to, and this does happen on bikes, I know that, but I have to, it seems like more and more I have to roll the bike back and forth to get the gears to line up and get it into first. Actually, I was telling one of the viewers a story about this bike. It was my second day I had it, and I went out for a ride just exploring some roads around the neighborhood, and I ended up going into a cul-de-sac which had not a big circle, just basically a dead end, and I had to do a kind of a tight U-turn. So I slowed the bike down, downshifted into second, started riding the rear brake as I was approaching my U-turn, downshifted into first to do the turn and pull through, and I hit the throttle and there was nobody home for the power. So this being kind of a heavy bike, it went over pretty fast. I didn't have time to save it. I did throw my leg out, but it wasn't in time, and the bike went down. You know, I was going all of 0 miles an hour when it happened. And I've got a nice little blemish on my cylinder head cover from that. Luckily, when I went down, I said, oh, I thought the worst. I thought the mirror was going to be broken, the fairing was going to be all scratched up, you know, the back end part of the, you know, plastics there will be all scratched up, but I was very lucky. It just hit the cylinder head, and again, going so slow, there wasn't any danger of, you know, breaking the cylinder head or any of that. But yeah, now I've got a nice little scar on my bike to remind me of that. So anytime I'm doing slow stuff now, I always look down at the indicator and make sure I'm in first, if that's what I need to be in. Because that is, I don't want to drop this again. That was, I think I threw out more than one choice word when that happened. There was a guy behind me, he was going down that road as well and had to turn around in a little Mini Cooper, so he jumped out, and nice of him to ask me if I needed help or if I'm okay and all that stuff. And he had a bike. He said, oh, I've got a bike, I've done that before, God, that sucks, sorry man. Yeah, it does, but you get over it. Pretty much everyone does it. I'm just glad I didn't. I was going 0 miles an hour, you know, close to it anyways. So how many of you ride around with your high beams on during the daytime? I just started doing it. I don't think it's blinding people. It's definitely safer, I think, just to let people know where you are, especially on a sunny day. But yeah, I'm just curious to see if other people do that as well. Got another 16 minutes. I don't know if you can see that or not. The glare off of the sun. Now if you can see that, see my handlebars are shaking a little bit. I put these on, and I've been trying to see about the vibrations, and it definitely, because these are much lighter than the stock bar ends. The stock bar ends are very heavy. You can see there's a video I did about that, but I'm going to put the stock ones back on and check, but these seem to be vibrating a little bit more than I thought, which definitely transfers into your forearms. And I have noticed I've gotten a little bit more forearm fatigue, hand fatigue, if you will, but after an hour and a half of riding, it's still not that bad. Ooh, smell barbecue. Fallen rocks. Let's hope not. That would not be nice. Here's the parking area. I think there's a set of stairs up here. Right up here. Okay, so we're here. And so here we are, walking up to the top. The guy at the bottom said it's about 100 steps or so. This is quite a hump with all my gear on. Mount Bonnell.